Hi everyone, it's Emily and Cléo. She's just sleeping by my side. And welcome back to Le Petit Mouton Noir et Cléo. And today we're having a knitting podcast where I will speak about my finished project and my work in progress and a little bit about what I'm planning to do in the near future, like basically my next task one. And I will start with what I'm wearing. So it's the even in French, like it's Latin, Trapezius T. This is a knitting pattern from Knitting Chiro, uh, also known as Andréanne Pérusse. Um, like she's a Chiro practitioner. I think I say it right. Um, so all I think all of her patterns are linked to a body part, and I guess this is the muscle like that we have in the back with the Latin word. I guess I don't know. Maybe it's written in the pattern somewhere. No. Yeah, the trapezius muscle. Yeah. So and it's a very nice t-shirt pattern that is knit in fingering weight yarn, and the back, as you can see, is all lace, and we have teeny tiny, like it's a kind of a drop shoulder, and we pick up the stitch and just knit a rib border to make a t-shirt. And I honestly, I really like this finished object because I've knitted t-shirt before, but they were either like DK weight, like a fingering weight with a held double with a mohair, or a DK weight in color work. And those t-shirts are very warm, but like my arms get cold. But this is a fingering weight yarn, so I feel that like the heat and cold is more balanced. Um, like I'm not as hot here, and I'm still cold here, but not as much. And I think that with like that's the kind of thing that I can wear just a sweater on, like a small uh, fabric sweater. I don't think a knit will fit because knit against knit, it's gonna there will be a bunch of friction, and I don't want to mess any of those garments up. So maybe like a fabric sweater, so that way I will be hot on the arm, but not too hot in the bust area, like and in the back, like the bust, the upper part of the body. Um, so I think like yeah, I really liked it. It's a bit longer to knit a fingering weight t-shirt than a DK one, but it only took me like basically 3 months. I started on August 10th and I finished it on November 10th. So yeah, it's not that bad. And I'm not a fast knitter, and I didn't have much knitting time because I spent quite a bit of time sewing in the past few months because I really needed some pieces in my wardrobe, and I couldn't find any in the store. So I was like, yeah, I need to make them. um, and yeah, I really like it, and I can show you the back. That is all lace. It's a very pretty lace pattern. Um, it's a 12 row pattern. Repeat, I should say. It's not intuitive, so I needed a row counter to remember where I was. Like when I'm knitting it, it's not that bad. It's just if I put it down and I take it back a couple of days later, uh, it's much easier to know exactly where I am in the chart than trying to figure it out for like 10 minutes. So yeah, that was that. The yarn that I've used is from a local dyer for me. It's De Maille en Bas. from stitch to socks, if I translate it. And the color is vintage. It's our BFL base. It's 80% BFL, 20% nylon. Yeah, everything that I talked about, I really try to link them if I can. She doesn't have that colorway in her shop right now, but she tends to do like collection. So normally about 4 collection during the year. So maybe we'll come back more for the winter. I don't know. Because right now she's in the Christmas, like 5 collection. Like she has 5 collection, and one is Christmas because she's a Christmas fan. So now she's dyeing a bunch of Christmas yarn. So maybe after is gonna come back. But yeah, so it's this very nice burgundy. It's not a color that I usually knit or wear, but in the past year, it's a color that I've been very drawn to. Like 2 years, I have 2 Nico tops in a burgundy color. I have this, and I just bought some fabric to make a dress that is also burgundy. It's a tonal speckled yarn, and I realized that my second skein was not as speckled, but I didn't notice before I blocked the project. And I tend to knit at night and it's not, I don't put very bright lights in my house at night, like cozy. Yeah, so I didn't realize it. But since the transition is right under my boobs, it doesn't show much. Like now on camera, it shows a lot, but in reality, it's really not that bad. So I was lucky for that. But yeah, I like it so far. I made some modification to the pattern, very small modification. So like those are supposed to be 1 inch, but I knitted 1.5 inch for every rib section. Also, when she described the length that you're supposed to knit, it's like 10 inch or 1 inch less than what you desire before the ribbing. But for me, and I didn't know like her 10 inch, was it block or not? Because I don't tend to block my my knitting project along the way. So I was like, so I was measuring and I was like stretching it a bit, but I was like, is that what I'm supposed to do? And I was like, when I'm gonna block it, it's gonna grow for sure. So is it 10 inch before or after blocking? I wasn't sure. Like, and it's not the first time that I have this thought. Like every time I'm like, do I need to block it right now or do like? So if you know, if you're a designer, tell me. Did you, when you say, oh, knit in a pattern that you know that's gonna grow so much, when you say knit 10 inch, is it before or after blocking? I think it's after blocking, but I was like, no, there's no way I'm gonna block this. Like I have all of those metal stitch marker. I don't want to mess anything. I was like, no. So I was just stretching it, and I've knit, I think 11 and a half inch to have about 13 inch, and that's, I measured it like a couple of minutes ago when I was filming the French version. And I was like, yeah, I'm bang on a 13, and that's the probably smallest size I would, like length, yeah, smallest length that I would knit. I like my preferred length is in between 13 and 14 inches, 14 and a half. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm quite tall, I'm all legs, but I still have like a torso, like a long torso, like I'm 5'9". So I don't have like 5 feet in my, yeah, in my legs. And like I have very long legs. Like I have the same type of legs that are girls that is 5'11" or even 6 foot tall have, but I still have like a long torso. So for me, like 11-inch, it's really not enough length. So 13, it's more appropriate, and it falls like this is my belly button. Like it falls right at my belly button. Like just a little bit lower, like it's here. Yeah, this is my belly button. So right at it. So I could have knit a bit more. And that's what I have left. So I could have probably made 6 rows more with that amount of yarn, but I wasn't sure and I didn't want to play yarn chicken because that sometimes can go wrong. So, but I'm gonna keep it. So if I'm bothered by the length, like I could undo it, even though it's a tubular cast off. I could undo it and knit a bit more of the ribbing and then bind off and then call it a day. So I'm gonna keep it here with all my leftover yarn. I have 2 buckets of leftover yarn, one for tonal and semi-tonal and one for all the speckly ones right here. And someday I might do something with them. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this project. I think so. Yeah. Or maybe I'll come back and with something I forgot. So I will talk about this one first. This is my Bliss sweater. It is designed by Tricot. She's also a designer, from a local designer to me. And it's knit in drops hair yarn. I don't remember what is the caliber of that yarn. Maybe worsted weight or Aran weight. I don't remember. I think it's an Aran weight sweater with V-neck opening. It's quite large, but it's not too large. And it's a drop sleeve design with the sleeve, and I modified the pattern because I don't think she have any decreases until here, but I didn't have enough yarn. So I was like, oh, and I didn't want like super poofy sleeve. So I made some decreases along the way, and I kept my stitch marker so I could do the same on this second sleeve. And then I bind off with I-cord binding like this because I didn't read the pattern and was not what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to do ribbing, so I ripped it and I lengthened them and I knit the ribbing. And then at the bottom, I did the same mistake. And oh, and yeah, true. The first time, I don't know why I didn't pick up I picked up too many stitches, so my sleeve was gigantic. And yeah, that's not a pattern problem. That was a me problem that I didn't read properly and I was distracted. And yeah, I assumed so many things. And that's when you realize that there's a reason why you buy patterns. So yeah, I've learned quite a bit with that pattern telling me that I should read pattern and not assume things. So, and with that one, I've learned that I should probably alternate my skeins of yarn, even though like normally it like the difference in between the skein, it never happened to me before. So or it happened, but it was so obvious that I alternated the skeins. But for this one, like they looked similar and I didn't, or maybe I just didn't put enough attention when I had them and wind them and everything. But yeah, we spend so much time on our knitings that I should be more thoughtful about what I make and how I make them, and be less reckless and just go with the flow, and I want to cast them on and I'm doing it. Like, take your time and think. I mean, and something I learned also with this sweater, because it's drops here, like it's a inflated yarn, so you have like that kind of mesh tube that they blow up some yarn in it, and the tube is, yes, a synthetic fiber, but inside is a fluff of, I think, coton and alpaca for sure, but I think there's another fiber in there. So it looks quite fragile, if I may say. Like, I think it's gonna I don't know the word in English. Like, we say peluché in français, in French. So, like, you know, when you have to raise your knit, like, because you have all those little things. If you know the word, please put it down. So I wash it by hand, which I normally don't do with my knits. I just put them in a bag in the washing machine, but like, because I live in Quebec, Canada, so we have very hot temperature during the summer. It can go, like, it's normally about 30 Celsius and can go up to almost 30 Celsius. Like this summer we had like a week where it was 42 Celsius, so very hot. But during the winter we can go down to minus 38 Celsius, which is very cold. So I have two wardrobes, one for summer and one for winter, and I have pieces that can blend in the fall, like yeah, it's almost like I have three wardrobes. So one for fall and spring, and one for summer, and one for winter. And so when I was like changing my clothes to put away my summer garments to get out my winter garment, I took my knit sweater, and like I had two of them was in French we say feutré, like you know, when the yarn shrink and get like all stiff, and so it's not that bad, but it's bad enough that like they feel crunchy and they don't feel as elastic and as drapey as when I knit them, and they shrink a bit. So I'm like, yeah, now they're a little bit short in my torso, you know. So I was like, yeah, I should not wash them in the machine. And like I spend so much time and money. Like this one is not too bad, and this one is a t-shirt, so it's not too bad. But like my next project, there's $300 of yarn in that future project. If I use all the yarn, I don't think I'm gonna use all the yarn. But most of the time, it's like $200 sweater. Like $200 is a lot of money for one sweater. I don't mean like I won't do it because I love knitting. And it's a well spent $200 because it's very well quality of fiber, and I spent all of this time, all of my free time enjoying knitting it, so it's worth it. Like, but I should be more careful about those things. And yes, I enjoy knitting, but I don't necessarily want to buy the same yarn to reknit the same pattern a second time just because I was careless with my sweater. So that's what I've learned with this one, because even though I'm washing it by hand, I see that the fiber might get worn out by being washed. So yeah, I have to be more careful with my, like the socks, I don't care. I put them in the washing machine. I won't wash my socks, especially during the winter. I will wear them almost every day. Like there's no way, it is just socks. Like they're not like, and I've worn some felted, that's the word I was looking for, felted socks, and it's fine. I don't care. It's like my mittens, like as long as they still fit, Like even if they're felted, I don't care. But a sweater, I do care. So my next finished object is socks. And it's those one. So it's a basic vanilla sock pattern. I don't use a pattern. I just know how to make them and do it. Maybe one day I could write a basic pattern, but there's so many free patterns online. Like I know, why would I spend the time to write one when there's already a ton available, right? Um, so, and I knit them in a month, which I was proud of myself. I was like, there's been a while since I knit a pair of socks in 1 month. So I was like, yeah, good. Um, so I started from the rib and to the toes, and I did double twisted rib. Why? Why did I do that? Like I often do twisted ribs on my cuff because I like the look of it. And I understand why double twisted rib knits exist. It's because when you have them like this and like this, like a brim of a hat or a turtleneck, like the terrazzo sweater from Popknit, like I understand that you want the same look on both sides, but for socks it doesn't matter. I was like, why did I do that? Like it's painful. I didn't enjoy it at all. And I don't understand why I think I did it just to like try it. And it's a sock, like it's not too much. Like it's a very minimal amount of double twisted rib knits, but I won't do that again for especially like I won't do that again for socks. Like maybe I'll do it again for as I say a hat or a sweater that needs it. But even a sweater, like I would not do that on the cuff or at the bottom ribbing. Like it have a purpose of this double twisted rib is if you can wear the thing like this or like this. Otherwise, I will never do it again. Because we can see a difference. Like this, if I twist it like this is the twisted one, and this is the half twisted one. Like this is a normal knit stitch, and on the other way, it's the twisted one. So yeah, there's a difference, but it have to be worth it. So the yarn that I used is a local dyer to me. It's laine péché mignon. How can I translate that? This is my candle that is making that sound, as you can hear. It's the end of it. She's dying. Laine péché mignon, like it's an expression of like a little something you like candy or like. I should try to translate it. Maybe it's gonna come back to me. And it was her winter collection from 2020. So it had been in my stash for a while. So the name of the color, like she doesn't sell them anymore. It was the 2020 winter collection is Rose des Vents, which is the symbol of the wind, like you know that cross thing. So yeah, it's a 20% nylon, 80% superwash merino, so very classic for socks. And I quite love the color. Like it's very wintry. Like obviously it was winter collection, but it's the collection is Winter Fables. So yeah, it gives a little bit of Christmas, but not enough. Like because you don't know that because it's brand new, my English part of the podcast, but since 2019, I've been knitting Christmas themed socks for my box of socks, Christmas box of socks, and I want 25 pair, like at least 24, but ideally 25 pair of Christmas socks. So it will be my advent calendar. So every day I can pick up a pair of Christmas sock, like until Christmas, you know. But I don't think it's Christmas enough to go in my box. I think I have like 13 pairs now in my box. yeah, I try to knit 2 of them every year. So, and it's been 6 years, so 13 makes sense. But yeah, it's not Christmas enough to go in that box. It's gonna be just wintry socks. And I gave some of my used sock for, I do that, like when you give to an organism that either sell them to get money for the poor or for a disease or anyone or anything like that, or sometimes they give it away to homeless people. So I did that. Like I had a couple of pair that I was like, oh, the leg is too short. I don't want to wear them as much. Or they'll be felted. I don't like them that much. And so I just gave them away to those. I gave them to those organizations so they can do whatever they want with that. So I need a bit more pair of winter socks. Yeah. This I won't talk about it, but I can talk about it just a bit. Because I didn't knit them this month. I knit them in the spring and summer. But it's my pattern, but it's modified. So that's why I was like, hmm. So it's the vanilla socks with a twist. So it's not the best one to look at. But yeah, I won't talk about it. Because it's not the best example and it's not the pattern. The pattern was written up from toe to cuff with the German shirt row, and the cuff was different. And this is knit from top down with the heel flap and gossip heel. But the texture is the same, but you can't see it because the yarn is too busy. But that's also the Mayamba yarn on her Befel. So the same type of yarn as this, and it was a colorway from 2020, which was Ça va bien aller, which was it's gonna be fine, because that was an expression that our government used constantly. It's gonna be fine for like months and months, and people start making sticker with rainbows on it, and it was like, it's gonna be fine. And yeah, Melissa, the dyer behind the Mayamba, she made a rainbow colorway. It's gonna be fine. So yeah, and I had to go to the hospital in the spring, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take that and start some socks. With it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna start them in a waiting room of an hospital. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. But it had been fine. Like I got my surgery and everything's fine now. My my tongue is still numb, but it's gonna be fine at some point, I guess. I hope. But, so yeah, that was the story behind socks. Um, so yeah, it's pretty much what I had finished. I have one work in progress and one that I'm gonna start probably today or in the next few days. So the next one is again vanilla socks. I have one and I start a second one, and it's also in BFL, but it's from another dyer called Bleu Poussière, and she's doing natural dyes. But I don't remember exactly when, but a couple of months ago, I think, because she was doing that full time for years. But I don't know why in Quebec, indie dyers struggle a lot, and even yarn shop. Like we had a lot of yarn shop that shut down, and we had a couple of yarn dyers that was doing it full time that went back to work. For here in Quebec, I don't know for the rest of Canada, or but like we are kind of in a financial crisis in Canada, and everything went, like the price of everything went up so high so fast, and the salary doesn't follow, at least not yet. So yeah, people are a bit more struggling, so maybe that's why they don't buy as much as in like yarn, because yarn is expensive, especially indie dyed one, but it's worth all the money worth, like, so yeah, maybe I think that's why. But it's a shame, but I hope it's gonna come back. But yeah, Bleu Poussière, she dyed yarn with naturally dyed yarn, and this is one of her colorway called Moomin Falls in Love. And I loved that color for so long, and 2 years ago I bought it. I was like, because it's expensive, so I was like, it's a treat. So, and I kept it like preciously, and yeah, last month I was like, yeah, I'm gonna knit it. Like I want to knit for my stash, so I'm gonna knit it. And like everybody else, like money is a bit more. It's not scared. It's like I'm fine. It's just that I have to be a bit more careful about it, and especially like last year, Cleo, my dog, like this year, I should say, she had a seizure, and like she's 15, so I was like, I don't know what's going on, and I want her to have the best treatment. So I made all the exam that she needed, and it cost me an arm and a leg, like basically $1,200. No, $12,000. Yeah, $12,000. So 12000. Yeah, a lot of money. And like my previous car was not has oh gosh, like it was an old car, and like there's no other way for me to go to work than by car. There's no bus that goes there, so I really need a car that I can trust. And I was like, I cannot always trust my car. Like I had to go to the garage like every 3 months for big repairs. So I was like, I made all the repairs that it needs, and I sold it for a very reasonable price. I probably could have more, but whatever. I sold it and I bought a new one. New cars are expensive, so yeah, money is a bit more. Like I have to be more careful with my money, so I don't buy as much yarn. So I knit from a stash. But I'm in no means like in trouble. No, not at all. So just have to be reasonable. Which we don't always want to, but I have to. So yeah, this yarn was a treat, and I love it. Like it's a very nice base, and I love the color. And the mini, I don't know the color. I'm sorry, but even then, like I tried to link everything down below, but this I couldn't find, and I don't know if this dyer still dye for her online shop, or she only dye for merchant, so other yarn boutiques, yarn shops, because I couldn't find anything. But I show it anyway, because maybe you'll go to a festival and someone will have some of her yarn, and like it's so pretty. So yeah, and there's no patterns again for this, and I didn't do a twisted rib, just a normal rib. I knit 6 row of the main color, 5 row of the contrasting color, 3 of the main, 5 of the contrasting, and then move on. And we can see the place where I changed my yarn. This is much neater. So yeah, and I always knit my socks on magic loop. This one is like my long one that I don't like, but I'm keeping my preferred, like the cord is much smaller with the other one. I keep them because I'm probably gonna start some Christmas socks at some point. So probably sooner than later. So I wanted to keep them available if I decide to start some Christmas sock and post them. But like it's going, like I started them yesterday, so it's going well. So pretty sure I'm gonna be able to finish them before I start Christmas socks, because in 2 weeks we're in December and it's gonna be Christmas time. Oh yeah, I didn't say. Sorry, I just saw a ball of yarn and I was like, oh, I didn't say that. Yeah, gonna finish what I'm saying and then go back to this. But yeah, so every year, like there's a knit along. I think we can call it a knit along with Misa from the Mayamba. She's, as I say, she's a Christmas fan. I'm a Christmas fan, So every year I participate in her knit along, and from December 1st to December 24th, I knit a pair of Christmas socks with her yarn, and it's so fun. So, like, if I don't finish them before December 1st, they're gonna be paused, so I can knit on my Christmas sock. So, yeah. And coming back to this, I didn't tell. Like, though this pair of of socks, I only use like 59 grams. So I still have quite a lot of this. So it's gonna go with my speckled yarn leftover. But I need to find a pattern to use all that yarn in a way that I will like. And I don't want to make a blanket. No. Probably socks, but I have to find a way to use all those speckled yarn together to make something that is like nice. Because sometimes with speckled yarn it's hard because they're like, this could be fine with white, so I can white stripe this, some of this, but some other speckled yarn, like, they're gonna get lost if I use the white. Like, this is a Christmas colorway from Melissa. I think this is Mon Beau Sapin, which, oh, Christmas tree. Well, not a fan at all. So, but this is gonna be lost, like, in between the white stripes. So, so yeah, I have to find a way to use all of those yarns. And I don't remember if I say, but I use just a little bit left in 2 skein of yarn for this. But I could, like, if I had knitted to the length that I wanted, I would have used the 2-hole fingering weight yarn, which is 226 grams of fingering weight yarn. Just saying. And this I don't remember. I think I had 6 balls and I used just a bit less than 6 balls, like probably 5.5. And yeah, that's all for what I'm knitting, what I'm knitting on, and this is what I'm planning to knit. I don't have the yarn with me, there over there, and I don't want to get up. But it's a pattern from Filcolana, and the designer is Popknit. It's Bird of a Feather sweater. And I'm gonna knit them in those exact color, but not from Filcolana because I was not able to find the yarn, those colors. So there's a couple of shops, not that much, that carries Filcolana yarn in the province of Quebec, or even in Canada. I didn't look much like in BC so far. So I look more like in Quebec and Ontario, and couldn't find much shop that carry Filcolana, like a handful of them, maybe 2 handful. But I couldn't find enough of the yellow and the green because there's a fingering weight out with mohair, and every shop, like, either they didn't have any of those color, or they only had like the fingering weight didn't have the mohair, or not enough quantity, and I didn't want to order like for a bunch of different shop. So there was a festival in April in Quebec, and there was this dyer. She doesn't have a website or anything, and I think she only goes to a couple of handful of festival and sells her yarn. But it's les Couleurs du Temps, so the color of time. And she really specialized in very bright colors. So that's a word that I have trouble. Color and colors. For me, it's very hard to say those words in English. But yeah, she had colors like this, and I don't have them with me, but at the same time, like, I'm gonna talk about them in a future video. So it's gonna be those colors, not cast on. I find the yarn last night, and there's a lot of yarn. I think they like, I hate when people do that, like designers, when they put way more yarn that what we really need just so the company will sell more. I hate that because then you're left with a bunch of leftover, and that for me is I don't want to buy a pattern from that designer anymore because I know there's too much yarn, but I don't know how much there's too much. So I don't tend to buy design from them because I just don't know how much I really need. So it's not a good thing. Like I would rather have like a fair quantity of yarn, and I'm gonna buy again from you and that yarn if I like the yarn. Like you don't have to make a big sale one time. It's better to have reasonable sale all the time. Just saying. Bad marketing. So yeah, like they ask for like I'm probably the smallest size on that, and they asked for 12 skein of yarn, like 6 of the green and 6 of the yellow, so 3 of the fingering, 3 of the mohair for each color. It doesn't make sense to me. Normally I can do that type of sweater with 6 skein, not 12. Like it's double the amount that I need. So I didn't buy 12. I bought 10 because they're less yellow than green. So I was like, for sure, I can knit that with like 1 is not enough. So 2 is fair. Like it's fair that you asked me to buy 200 gram of the fingering weight and 100 gram of the mohair for this. And I'm gonna have some leftover, I think. Pretty sure I'm gonna have some leftover. I'll just be bang on. And this I'm gonna need 2 or 3 because it's long sleeve and it's kind of oversized. So I bought 3 of them, but I didn't buy 3 of both color, like three set of both color 6. It's too much. Like I'm sure, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm gonna regret everything that I just said. But I'm pretty sure I'm right because I've knit a couple of sweater. Like I'm enough experienced to know that I'm pretty sure that's too much. And if I bought 3 of the green because like I'm pretty like maybe with 2 I could be fine, but just to be sure I'm gonna have 3. And if I have leftover of the like I don't use a whole skein of green fingering and a whole skein of green mohair, I can do a hat with that. And if I have like a bit of leftover of both, maybe I can knit a hat with those 2 colors, and that's fine. But I don't want to stay stuck with like 2 green and 2 yellow because you made me buy so much yarn. It happens to me once with Andrea Mori's pattern, and I never bought another Andrea Mori pattern because of that. I did the Nerder sweater, and it asked for 800 gram of worsted weight, and I used like 5, and I was stuck with 300 gram of worsted weight yarn, and I realized that I don't want worsted weight yarn sweater unless it's something very hairy like this. This is fine, but very dense merino yarn, worsted weight, nope. So I was stuck with that for a couple of years, and I knit a couple of hats and I give them away, and I was like, okay, I wanted out of my stash, but I didn't like that. And I'm like, I'm not gonna. And afterward, I saw like the same 2 years and maybe 2 years later, I saw a lot of people talked about that. So maybe now she doesn't do that anymore, but I don't know. I don't look at her pattern, but because I was so mad, and I'm still mad about it. Like I don't like people overshooting for yarn just to sell more yarn. Like no, that's bad marketing. So yeah, we shall see, and I'll get you back with it at some point, maybe in a couple of months. Let's be honest, I don't knit very fast, but yeah, that's my frustration of the day. Sorry, I'm not that way normally, but like it's ridiculous. Like, why would I need 12 skein of yarn to knit myself a sweater when I'm like in the lowest? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm the smallest size of this can you imagine for people who are plus size, like how much, I don't know how much they recommend. Like, I have to look. Like, this is a free pattern, so I can show whatever I want. Oh, there's not that many size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're in centimeter. Why don't you put them in inch? Okay. No, I don't know. It's not clear. Oh, it's not in inches. So the smallest one is for a bust of 80 to 87 centimeter. It's about 31 to 35 inch about. And I don't think oh yeah, it goes up. So the biggest size fit chest. So this is not the finished size of the garment. It's what they recommend for like the size of your bust. So 54 is the biggest size. So the finished garment measurement, the biggest is 55.5 inch of circumference, and the smallest one, oh, it's big. It's 41, so I will knit the smallest size for sure, because 41 is huge on me. Yeah, it's big. For me, it's a couple of inch of positive ease. It's a bit more than 4 inches of positive ease. Sorry. So for the biggest size, they recommend 6, 7, 8, 9, more than a kilo of yarn total. That's a lot of yarn. Crazy. Oh, they used more yellow than they used green. Really? Doesn't make sense. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. But a kilo of yarn, that's a lot. That's a lot of money to put in a sweater. Yeah. We'll see. So last thing that I want to talk about is sewing. So I have one finished object, but I'm gonna make like a different video for my finished object, and I already made a video for the future project. But so I'm just gonna mention them. So maybe if you didn't see and you don't intend to see the longest video, at least you'll be aware of what I've made. So I've made some ginger jeans. Yes. So with some stretch denim that I bought at my local nursery, and fit them well. So I'm quite happy because I really needed some jeans. I ripped 2 pairs the past few months, and there's a third one like close to dying, like almost like you can see through the fabric, so it's gonna rip at some point. So I made those. They're not perfect, but like it's a fit that I will buy in store, so I'm fine with that. There's a couple of changes maybe that I can make, but I have to figure that out. And the other project that I'm gonna work on is this dress. It's the McCall 8553 with the view C that I want to make in a burgundy corduroy. But now Cleo is sleeping on it. It's this fabric. So that's gonna be my next project. And that's it for today. Like in my French version, I talk about my candles because I make candles and I sell them online. But I talked about it because I'm gonna have a Christmas market. I'm gonna go to a Christmas market at the end of the month. But it's in Quebec, so I don't think much people here are gonna go there. But it's the du Berger des Slows, Marché Noël. So I'm gonna still write it down in my show notes, but yeah. Don't think it worth to hear about it here. But I do have an online shop where I sell my candles. Um, I only sells in Canada because of how it's complicated to sell abroad. And like I have another job, full-time job, so this is kind of a side hustle, and I don't want it to be too complicated to the point that I don't want to make it anymore, because I have a lot of fun making candles and playing with fragrance and making my own fragrance sometimes, like quite a bit, not all the time, but I will say that half of my fragrance are like me playing with a bunch of different ones and mixing them together to make new ones. um, so yeah, and it's been 50 minutes, so I'm gonna call it a day. Wishing you like nice time to knit and sew and have fun and enjoy your day. And yeah, I hope you like it. If you did, please put a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll try to make both French and English version of the video that I'm gonna post. So that way, if you're a French speaker, you can try to improve your English. Even though my English is far from being perfect, it's better than not hearing English at all. And the other way around, if you want to hear some me speaking in French and trying to learn French through video like this, like it's a nice opportunity. That's how I learn English, by the way, by watching video on YouTube on things that I liked and kind of catch up on it. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I learned. So maybe you can do too. So I didn't learn French that way. I learned English that way, because French is a bit more complicated than English. So just with the things with the, oh, this is feminine and masculine, but it's a thing. So doesn't make sense, but that's how we do in French. So yeah. So yeah, I have to stop to say so also in English. I say it a lot, but I wish you a good day or a good night, good evening, whatever the time it is for you, and enjoy your knitting and sewing time. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.